welcome to another episode of Off-Grid in Italy. We grow wild home crafting. I just came back from a round of shopping, buying some food, and I'm gonna do a few things today, but first we're gonna check what Mika is doing because it's quite interesting. So we're dealing with the fence, and we want to fence the entire garden area and around the house, which is a huge endeavor. But Mika is gonna tell us.
Welcome to the furnace. The growing season is coming. Spring is here. And we have a huge field, but we don't have a fence. So any type of animal could come and eat. A lot of rats and things are already eating all the seeds, and then we don't want the same issues with the plants later, hopefully. And first we thought or Martina said we could make a smaller fence, and we were thinking maybe we could make one fence for the garden and one for the dogs. But just the amount of fence you have to make is still quite a lot, and you get very little area in the fence. But if you make one huge fence that is 3 times longer the fence, you get 10 times more land inside. So instead of having just small islands, the entire property will be in the fence. And that made me really excited, because then we can kind of live with the dogs inside without having to think about putting them in their fence and then back and forth. So we had a small fight about it, but we had a big fight about the size of the fence. But oh my god, it's burning. But so we have 130 or something fence poles, and that could make 250 meters of fence, which is perfect for the entire property.
Not for the entire property, but around the house.
Yeah, for our close area to the house. We're gonna make all of it, and it's a huge process, and it was really stressful in the beginning, but now we see the light, right baby? We can see that this is gonna work.
Can you explain what you're doing?
And but when you put them in the ground, these poles, they will easily rot. We bought these poles, they are chestnut wood, which is pretty durable up to 20-25 years, basically untreated. But if you kind of do some sort of treatment, ancient methods of treating wood, fire, some oil, some clay and stuff, then maybe they can last even more than 80 or 100 years, is what I read online. And this method of burning, it was actually a lot quicker than I thought. Today, in one day I will do half of all of them, pretty much, no? You can see there's a hole and there's a fire. And this is from that area which we cleaned up before. We collected a lot of dead wood and stuff, and also green wood that we cut, and some stones, and that's what we're using for this project now. But then
so Mika is burning the tips.
Yeah.
And then he wants to scrape them off and add oil and then burn them again. And then, I don't know, it's a many layers process.
It's pretty exciting, no? Ancient. That's what we're doing. We're reconnecting with the ancient tribes of the past. They've been doing this for thousands of years. And it seems to work very well. And it's beautiful, I think.
It is. It's very beautiful.
I mean, there are also chemical treatments that could have been easier. But basically, yeah, all of the ones that are here is half of what we have. So all of this we had to take off the bark, which was a huge process, because the guy who sold us the poles, he didn't say that they still had the bark. Everyone else sold without bark. We had to debark for days before all of this. And now we're doing this. The fence project is quite a big project.
It is.
And it got priority over everything else.
Okay, now that we checked what Mika was doing, we're going to do a little witch's recipe. I harvested some rebort plantain or plantago lanceolata, and I'm gonna make plantain cough syrup, a medicine for when you're coughing, but also like a syrup that you can add on teas and infusions. And it's super easy. You need fresh plant matter, plantain, a nice jar, clean jar, sugar, pair of scissors. That's it. Let's do it. Okay, I had a breakdown and I cried a lot, and then I just slept here, and now I have to keep on debarking these poles. It takes about 15 minutes to debark each. Look at my face. And we're gonna go and check on Mika. But don't worry, I had a mental breakdown because it's a big project. It's normal.
Yeah, this was turned out to be the hardest part.
I mean,
It was so exhausting now.
it's completely covered in coal. Like, I had the mental breakdown. I cried and then I fell asleep there.
Yeah, you just gotta keep on going. Like, I think if I buy like a better brush, because we only had this, then it could work better. But also I started to oil a lot of them, which you would have had to do anyway. But then I ran out of oil, so now I'm just trying to deal with this scrubbing. And I only did that many, and I still have that many, and this is only half of what we have to do. We're tired. I scraped off the coal part of the pole because I think it's too porous and water will go in there and like organisms. I know that microorganisms like to live in coal. So I thought it was better to scrape it off and then oil. Linseed oil. And what I forgot that I will do for the next round of oil is to melt salt into the oil. So it's because salt is really good also against organisms. So it would be oil and salt, and I want it to feel really like soaked in well. I don't feel that one layer was enough. And then like give it a quick grilling, not a complete burning. I don't want to scrape these again, let's say. And then do a final layer of salt and oil again. But I can't believe that I managed to do all of this like in one day. But it was a mess, like to scrape it off was so much more difficult, or like because it's so dusty and I can't really breathe well.
Yeah.
But I should have some kind of mask also tomorrow or the next time that I go for this.
And goggles.
Okay. But it was really... I was really excited about this, but now I'm really tired.
We go to the river to wash you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so we're done for the day, let's say. When I work like this and basically burn myself out, like for me it's kind of fine. But for Martina it's really heavy to see me working this hard when she doesn't want to work with something this dirty. Like for example. But in building in general, like Martina you don't like building. And this project has a lot of building and a lot of dirty
and
work.
I feel so ashamed for not helping.
But for me that's completely fine. Maybe sometimes I'm like asking for support with certain things and kind of shaming you a bit. I'm like, oh, can you go and buy more oil, or... And
let's say that I have to be available. That's
exactly.
the thing.
It's
I have to be available for you when you're working like that. And sometimes I'm not up for it and I have to feel so much shame.
Yeah. And exactly. I feel that what I'm doing is really important and that it's like gets priority. And that you have to kind of help me when I need help, like continuously through the day sometimes. For example, today when I did this, Martina went to the city to buy a lot of food and get a lot of water and like take care of the dog, like so many other things that are equally valuable. But then just because I'm like this project oriented, like I still value what you did today for sure, and I also told you that.
But I don't, you know.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
We're together and we're doing things for each other. In the end, this fence is also for the garden.
It's for the garden.
That it will
so exciting.
serve us well.
Okay, now that we have the boards that are kind of the same length, I'm just gonna place them horizontally next to one another. And what Mike would do in this case is to glue them, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna use the pieces that I cut off and I'm gonna place them vertically on top of them and just screw them. So that's going to be it, basically. Easy shelves. Okay, I finally finished the shelf. I can put my little plants in there like that. Okay, now that I completed the shelf, I'm going to clean up this area and reorganize my seedlings because it's a dear mess. Hello. I need to deal with these wonderful nettles. So I dried lots of nettles and I want to kind of crush them for making tea and, you know, making like salt, nettle salt, things like that. So I'll deal with the greenhouse first.